So just before break, we were talking about the dosage calculations by body weight, and we are looking at converting pounds into kilograms and then being able to determine how much maybe somebody needs in a certain dose. So this POD question, which by the way, I am not making you turn in any PODs, but I am going to go over a POD just about every day like I would in class, only because a lot of times the POD is content that ties into what I'm going to teach, or it's just a good review. So today, this question that we have for the POD says, solve the dosage by weight conversion. Solve the dosage by weight conversion problem. Doesn't really make sense. Anyway, so the patient weighs 33 pounds. The ordered dose is 37 milligrams per kilogram per day. And the recommended dose, which I'm going to highlight this part, is 25 milligrams per kilogram per day in equally divided doses every 8 hours. So the question says, does the doctor's order fit with the recommended safe guidelines? And a lot of times you can simply just look at the ordered dose and you see that the ordered dose is 37. 37 falls within that range. So that's the recommended dose amount. So that is completely fine. So you would say yes, it falls within the recommended safe guidelines. So today we're going to talk about, this is the last section actually out of chapter 15. And in fact, this is the last section that we're going to learn that is technically considered the med math content from Sinclair. So it's called it's Clark's, Young's, and Fried's rules. And these are just basically dosage calculations for very young or very frail patients. So that's what I'm going to talk you guys through today. So I'll go through each of the different calculations. So there are 3 special formulas to help calculate dosages for very young or very frail patients. You may wonder when to use each formula. We know body mass and weight are variables. However, weight is the most important consideration in selecting a formula. So these formulas are estimates of proper dosing. So the first one that we have is Clark's rule. Clark's rule, this is used for pediatrics and youth with normal lean body mass and normal development. Young's rule, you use for 1 to 12 years based on their age. This is also considered a standard formula for dosage calculations. And then you have Fried's rule. This is used for infants up to 2 years old. And so these are the different formulas that you're going to follow. Okay, so a lot of times it will tell you the child, and or it might tell you which particular rule that you would need to use. So you're just simply going to follow each of these. So I'm going to take you guys through examples of each one. Okay, starting with Clark's rule. So these are just basically like, you just look at the what particular rule it's going to use, and you just look at the formula. So for Clark's rule, it says that you're going to take the weight of the child over 150 pounds. So this child weighs 25 pounds. So the formula says we're going to take that over 150. And then you're going to multiply it by the average adult dose. Well, the average adult dose, they tell you, is 250 milligrams. Okay, so it's basically just take 25 divided by 150 times 250 milligrams, and you get that to come out to be 41.6 milligrams is the proper dose. Is the proper, that looks terrible. Goodness. Is the proper dose. Okay. And by the way, if you don't already have this, you might want to save. This is Desmos. I don't know if you have this or not. So Desmos calculator, if you take 25 divided by 150, or you can use the one on your Chromebooks, but this is nice too. So 41.6. They didn't ask us to round to the nearest tenth, but you get the idea. Okay. Use Young's rule. So Young's rule says if the child is age 10 and the adult dose is 250. So Young's rule says that you need to take the age of the child in years, which is 10. And then that formula says you take the age of the child in years and you add 12 to it. And then that one you multiply times the average adult dose. So this is going to end up being 10 over 22. And then multiply that times 250. And you get 10 times 10 times, oops, 10 over 22 times 250. You get 113.63. So let's say that it said to have 2 decimal places for that, then you'd want to have it as 0.63. Perfect. Okay, last one. If Fry's rule, or use Fry's rule if the child is 10 months and the average adult dose is 500 milligrams. So right away we see that the child is 10 months. So they're under the age of, it's an infant up to 2 years old. So you're going to take the age of the child in months, which is 10 months, and you're going to put that over 150 pounds, and you are going to multiply that by the average adult dose. So take 10 divided by 150, multiply that times the average adult dose of 500. Goodness, and that is 33.33, or let's say that they said round it to the nearest whole number, even though it doesn't specify in the question, that would be 33. Okay, pretty easy. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, but nonetheless, it's still good that I go over it with you. So your assignment is 15.3, dosage calculations, Clark-Young Fry's rule. There are 10 questions. I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory, but if you guys have any questions, make sure you go back, go through the examples, and make sure you have these copied down. And then you can always reach out to me with any other questions.